74 units, because in 2019, the second quarter of 2019, there was 9,075 units sold at the pre-con level, whereas now, as I aforementioned, today's video, pre-con condo sales are reaching all-time highs in the second quarter of 2021. That and more in this video. Hello everyone, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Remax Realtron Realty. As always, you can find my contact information in the description box with regards to my Gmail, my Instagram, and my office. Feel free to get in touch with me with any questions you may have with regards to the Toronto/GTA real estate market, or any topics I cover in this video or any other video, along with, once again, your general inquiries. Lastly, feel free to subscribe, comment, rate, and review. Your support in that regard is always greatly appreciated, but you're not obliged to do so, as I say. However, yes, if you happen to enjoy my content, feel free to give me a like and a subscription. Once again, greatly appreciated. In today's video, I'm going to go through some of the latest numbers with regards to pre-con condominiums, so new condominiums, according to the latest Urban Nation report of condominiums for the second quarter of 2021. Later in this week, you can expect another edition of the TREB resale market report videos, where I make a video upwards of 15 to 20 minutes going through the latest TREB resale market report for the most recent month incomplete. But for this week, there is not going to be a condo weekly market update. Now, starting off with the numbers for pre-con condominiums, and when we talk about sales of condominiums with pre-cons, we're talking about pen on paper. We're not talking about the actual receiving of the unit, the completion of the unit, right? So when I refer to sales of new condos or sales of pre-con condominiums, once again, it's at the stage where you've signed the paperwork, you've looked at the materials, but the actual completion is, 2 to 4 years most often. At the latter end of that timeline, that's 2 to 4 years away. So these are sold at a contractual pen to paper level, not an actual physical level. When we look at the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area, we see a total of 9,000 units sold at this pre-con level in the second quarter of 2021. This represents a 500%, or otherwise put 5 times increase when we look at it year over year, when we compare the second quarter of 2021 to the second quarter of 2020, where in the second quarter of 2020, there was only about 1,600 new condominiums, in other words put, pre-con condominiums sold at the contractual level. If you see a lot of realtors / publications talk about this online or on Twitter, on YouTube, they say near record highs, near record highs, near record highs. And it's true, it is near record highs. But the word near is doing a lot of work there. You have to focus on what that means, because although it is 500% increase year over year in the second quarter of 2020 compared to the second quarter of 2021, as we're discussing in this current moment in time, when we look at it compared to the second quarter of 2019, we see that it's actually pretty even. In fact, it's actually a dip of a very, very inconsequential, negligible amount of 74 units, because in 2019, the second quarter of 2019, there was 9,075 units sold at the pre-con level, whereas now, as I aforementioned, 9,001, pretty much 9,000. Putting that negligible 74 units of difference aside, it's pretty much even with what we're seeing in 2019 level. We can in certain senses say that at a pre-con level, in terms of the inventory that has sold, we are returning back to 2019 levels. Obviously, if you've watched any of my videos on this channel, I have always discussed as to why year over year analysis in terms of this categories for residential detached properties, average sold price, average days on market, whatever category you're looking, a year over year analysis within the first quarter and second quarter of 2021 in comparison to the first quarter and second quarter of 2020 is sometimes misleading because of the worldwide events that unnaturally kind of deflated the numbers last year. I hope you know what I'm referring to when I say the worldwide event. Where we do see an improvement is in the terms of the unsold inventory portion of the market, wherein there's only 11,000 units that were unmoved and unsold in the second quarter of 2021 as compared to 2019, where there were 15,000 of such units. In terms of price per square foot, we also see a higher than expected number and higher than last year of 2020 and 2018, wherein this year on average the price per square foot for these new sales was $1,196 as opposed to last year's $1,098 and the year before that, 2019, second quarter of 2019, close to $1,000. So going back to the unsold inventory and new launches, in both instances, new launches in the second quarter of 2020 and unsold inventory, as I touched on previously, is less than the 2019 counterpart, wherein to reiterate, the 2019 unsold inventory was 15,000, here 11,000. And in terms of new launches, in the second quarter of 2021, there was only about 8,000 units new launches. In terms of new launches in the second quarter of 2021, we looked at 8,490, and in the second quarter of 2019, we were looking at 11,000 units in terms of new launches. So definitely when we take these two categories in conjunction with one another, we see that going forward, units that are going to be completed, closed, and potentially enter into the resale market and or the lease market for condominiums, because a large portion of people who do buy pre-cons in the city of Toronto especially are investors. We see that inventory is going to be lower than normal because once again the unsold inventory is lower, the new launches is lower. Now obviously quarter 3 and quarter 4 can offset this in certain instances. We have to see what those numbers are, but if inventory does remain low, that is a upward pressure provided onto the condominium market, assuming demand, as I have predicted according to my foresight, I could be wrong, but in the coming months, winter of 2022, I see demand improving. So if inventory is low and demand does improve for condominiums, both in terms of the lease side and the purchase and sale side, this can be an added upward pressure for condominium prices. Not so good news for buyers for the upcoming year, good news for sellers. But once again, we have to see what activity occurs in the quarter 3 and quarter 4 of 2021 that could potentially offset this. There could be a rush of inventory coming onto the market and new launches that also offset this as well. One last thing I want to discuss is 58% of these new sales in the second quarter of 2021 occurred in the 905 region outside the central locations of the city of Toronto. The city of Toronto is the 416, right, by area code. Now, the 905 stands for York region, Mississauga, eastern side of the GTA, but most likely you're talking about Mississauga, Markham, Richmond Hill, Vaughan, central locations nonetheless when you compare the expansive region that is the GTA, right? Some people will not believe Mississauga is central, but believe it or not, as a realtor who works with buyers all over the GTA, some days I'm in Mississauga, some days I'm in Durham, some days I'm in Barrie, some days I'm west of Mississauga. Mississauga is relatively central to me. Most of the supply is going outwards of the city of Toronto. That's why I have been so bullish on Richmond Hill. I've been so bullish on certain areas of Vaughan, not as much as Richmond Hill. That's why I have been also very bullish as of recent times in Durham in terms of condominiums. There's a lot of development occurring in Durham. So we see that really, when we're talking about pre-con and new projects occurring, whether it's low-rise, mid-rise, and high-rise, a lot of developers and builders are moving out into the outskirts of the GTA. When I say outskirts, in comparison to Midtown, North York, downtown, really. I actually see this percentage of the sales at pre-con levels increasing more and more so. Not to say there won't be any pre-con activity or new projects, exciting projects happening. There are many exciting projects coming to downtown, Midtown, North York, Etobicoke, and Scarborough. Point here is development opportunity in the outskirts of the GTA is becoming more and more, and furthermore demand is also willing to go to these areas as well. Anyways, that's Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Remax Realtron Realty. Let me know if you have any further questions with regards to whatever topics was discussed in this video or any other video in the past. Feel free to subscribe, comment, rate, and review. As always, I appreciate the fact that you take the time to watch my videos. A subscription, once again, is appreciated but not obliged. And yeah, thanks for watching. Stay tuned and stay safe.